You don't see her, and he's a full body apparition of Mary. When they come in the morning after nobody's been there all night, they'll find fingerprints of a little kid on a mirror.
So you're murdered and you can't even get an outfit change?
Well, why would every other Victorian ghost be wearing those stupid nightgowns if they didn't all die in their goddamn sleep?
Hey there, booze buddies. Welcome to another episode of Paranormal Spirits, where we share a drink, we tell you a spooky story, and then we rip it apart because booze always shows the truth. Gather around, kids. Today I'm going to tell you the story of Stone's Public House, which is in Ashton, Massachusetts. Oh! Yeah, I've actually never heard of it, nor have I heard of Ashton, Massachusetts. I think it's out west, isn't it?
Yeah, anything past a specific halfway point of the state of Massachusetts doesn't even exist. So a lovely gentleman named John Stone decided to build the Stone's Public House in 1832. And at that time, they called it the Railroad House. John was a farmer. He was also a captain in the militia, and he was a successful businessman. He owned the largest amount of land in the town of Ashland, which was at that point called Unionville. John caught wind that they were going to build railroad tracks right through the town, which actually crossed right through his land. And when they did that, he decided that he was going to put up this building that would be a hotel.
When you said he caught wind, I thought you said he broke wind. John broke wind.
John was like,
I get an idea.
Well, he thought about trains, and he was like, toot, toot. So the railroad house was completed in 1834, and on September 20th, it was opened, and to large crowds, some say it was 300 people. It included a barn, it had a cow yard, it had a home for his family, so it was a big old thing.
What year did you say this was?
1834.
Ah, yes. Prior to the advent of television.
Ooh, train station.
Ooh, barn. Oh, animals too? Oh my God.
A building is opening. Wow. Listen, and times were simpler. Nobody was tick-tocking or Snapchatting.
Hated that so much.
It's so old. John owned the railroad house for less than 2 years, and he continued to live on the property, but he started to lease it to a bunch of different innkeepers because he just wasn't interested in doing that anymore. In 1858, he died. After a really long time, the building kind of fell into disrepair, right? And it was there. It was kind of left to its own devices to just sit and rot for years. And in 1976, a gentleman by the name of Leonard Cappy Fournier bought the house, and he was the guy who was like, I'm gonna save this house.
Cappy Fournier-cation.
Dream of Cappy Fournier-cation.
He sounds like the kind of guy who would have a pickup truck with a goat in the back.
Here comes the old cat with the goat. Cappy is the first one who started to kind of realize that there was a lot of paranormal activities happening around the casa. There were a lot of standard things that were happening in the house. Lights were turning on and off. Doors would not stay locked that were locked. And just standard ghosty stuff. In 1984, a newspaper did an article on the whole shenanigans because good old Cappy came out and was like, yo guys, shit's happening over here, come check it out. Which maybe he was trying to drum up business, but maybe he wanted to let everyone know about the ghosties. And with that announcement, it was psychics and mystics and everyone kind of started coming to the location because they wanted to all check it out. They said that any person that came in there, they all had different stories here and there, but they all experienced the same sort of feeling in the back half of the upstairs function room. They didn't feel comfortable. They just felt off in that section of the room. And it was people who had never communicated with each other before, right? And it's 1984, so it's not necessarily the age of communication yet. So unless they're sending each other handwritten letters or calling long distance. Attention, all mystics.
Did they have phones in 1984?
Oh, we have skipped ahead and I missed that part. Okay. The psychics also all said that they felt multiple spirits present, right? There was more than one. They were all on kind of an agreement that there was one guy. His name was Bert Phillips, the ghost of Bert Phillips, who was a drunkard who passed away. He died at the inn in 1890. And they say that he doesn't want to leave because he just likes the atmosphere.
So all of these different psychics identified Bert by name?
Sure. We'll say Yes. It's actual factuals with Caitlin. Yeah, but he just likes to hang out. And I respect that. You know, you have your favorite bar, you die there, and then you wouldn't want to hang out at your favorite bar. Just like drunken Caitlin goes at the end of the bar being like, another. Make it a dirtier my tea. There was another ghost that is a little girl. They believe it was 11-year-old Mary Smith who was struck by a train in that area, and she was killed in 1863. And they actually have what's believed to be her dress framed and hanging in the inn.
Not the dress she was killed in, I'm hoping.
I'm not sure if it's her death dress. I hope so. Because then her little stupid ghosty would just be nudo. So you like have to live forever in whatever outfit you get murdered in.
Oh God, I hope not. So you're murdered and you can't even get an outfit change?
Well, why would every other Victorian ghost be wearing those stupid nightgowns if they didn't all die in their goddamn sleep?
Because they're not wearing corsets. They are like, fuck that. I'm comfortable. I'm letting everything hang out. It's a good time.
What would you live in for the rest of your ghost years if you had to like be in one outfit?
I would probably live in pajamas because that's what I would live in my alive years.
Honestly, I go back and forth because I want to be comfy. So like want the sweats, but I also want to be the ghost in the thigh-high leopard print boots.
I think like my pajamas to me are going to feel like pajamas, but to you, it's going to look like Naomi Campbell in a cat suit.
So post-mortem ghost outfit. It can look however you want it to look, but it feels like comfy jams. I actually read a story about two dudes. I don't really know who the dudes were, and they were like investigators, maybe people that work there. I don't really care. But they were like going in and doing some creeping around to try and look for some ghosties. And one of them walked into a room before the other, and he kind of like jumped and stopped back. And he was like, oh my God. And the other guy was like, what, dude? And the first guy was like, you don't see her? And he saw a full body apparition of Mary. And she was just standing there. Like, she was like, I got hit by a train. Where's my dress? Little Mary was like, where's my damn dress? Naked nudie.
Now that would be a ghosty outfit. Can you imagine? Like you will really like get attention if you're like, hey.
He's 11, so I'm gonna go with no for Mary. But maybe for me, we'll just be like, tits out. Be like, but old lady tits, right? Because you're gonna be old.
Even if you die at like 35,
they're still old lady tits. You're 35 and your little ghost is literally like this. Where?
You're swinging them around like they're tassels, but it's actually the booby.
But it's just it's the booby. They're so deflated and sad.
What?
Oh God, here comes the ghost of Caitlin again, flapping her sad, deflated pancakes.
Here comes the ghost of Caitlin. Duck. Careful, watch out, you might get whacked.
It's like the equivalent of getting whacked with on a towel. Like when people hit each other with a wet towel, it's just like
whack. Zach Bagan's coming in the room and he's just sitting there.
That's why he has to wear glasses. Wear your safety goggles, because here comes the ghost Caitlin with her old lady ghost boobs. It's wild. So yeah, so these two guys go, they see her in the room, and they're on their way out, and they look back, and they see her in the window. She's like full body in the window, just there, hanging out. Where's my dress? So now it's a restaurant, right? So it's like a hotel and an inn and a restaurant, and the people that work there, they have a lot of like things that happen. You know, the taps will turn on at the bar by themselves and turn off. And they've found, like, when they come in the morning after nobody's been there all night, they'll find fingerprints of a little kid, like size fingerprints on a mirror on the second floor, like way too high for like a child to reach. And then they also see that sometimes they'll come in and there'll be baby handprints. So I don't know if it's Mary or if it's like a little baby ghost going smudging its little baby hands all over his window. It's annoying. I would be pissed if I had to clean up handprints. It's bad enough having to clean up like real live people's handprints. Yeah, never mind ghost handprints. Like Mary, come on.
Just like the baby handprints would skeeve me out.
Ghost Baby is also wearing thigh-high leopard print boots.
How Ghost Baby's like swinging from the ceiling fan, just holding on to a blade like...
Ghost Baby and Mary are just like... running around, just sticking their sticky ass little kid hands all over the place. So another story is the assistant manager, whose name was Butch Adams, which feels like a made-up name, so maybe this is made up. Butch Adams said he was there one night and was finishing the floors, and then he all of a sudden felt like that scared feeling that you get sometimes when you're like, oh, I feel a little freaked out. And for no apparent reason, a handful of birdseed fell through the floorboard. For no apparent reason, there's just birdseed. Weird. Patrons will often report that they get tapped on the shoulder, they turn around, there's nobody there. So those stories are all pretty corroborated, things have happened, it's pretty legit. And then there's more of a legend story. The legend says that John Stone, who was the guy who bought it from the original guy. I don't know if that's accurate, but we're gonna go with it. So he was owning it, and he was playing poker with a bunch of people, didn't like somebody, that something happened. He ended up murdering somebody during a card game, and they made the other 6 players help him bury the body under the hotel, and swore them to secrecy. So this all came out from, it was a professional hypnotist, and his name was Ralph Bibbo. His practice needs to be the Bibbo Babble. So he Bibbo Babbled his way into the inn and did several sessions, and this is the story he came out with. In his stories, he says all of those the people who helped bury the body are still there, and all of this stuff. None of that can be corroborated. And there's even people that spoke about John Stone and saying that he would never be playing cards with these people. It's just not something that he would be doing. And so it's very far-fetched, but I still like the story, and I like the guy's name, Bibbo. He was convinced that there was still a body buried under there. He was trying to get the owners to dig it up, and I'm convinced that there'll be a skeleton under there, but I don't. But yeah, it's a pretty haunted little place. It's just standard kind of haunting, though. It seems like it wasn't anything crazy. Kid ghost, drunk ghost, baby ghost, old booby ghost. That's me, old booby ghost, Henry. Oh, it ghost. I like it. I like the local haunt. It's not flashy, but it's there, and everybody knows about it, and they all talk about it, and it's just it's not one of those things that has been overdone. So I like it. It makes it feel more real, right? Because everyone has their own little experience that happens when they're there. Oh, I got tapped on the shoulder once, or birdseed fell in my head from the floorboards. It's a camaraderie thing. It's a weird thing that brings people together, which I like that. Well, that's the crappy story of Stone's Public House. If you like what you saw, unroll your deflated titties and then subscribe, and ring that bell with them. If you don't like what you saw, roll back up and put them away and go find something you do like. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time for more drunken adventures with 2 old titty flopping whores. Get out. Goodbye. Goodbye.